And just like that, it's Friday. What a week! What a week it's been. Hang on, somebody. Wait a minute. Here's the clue. It's a cravat. Hello.
I'm back.
He's back. Here's Philip.
Terribly sorry about my absence over the last few weeks.
I
trust that no one even noticed.
Everybody, I've been inundated. Freddie, the postman, has been going, I can't carry these sacks of mail, Russie. I can't. I go, Fred, chill, mate. He'll be back. Not as good as Neil Long.
No, well, I mean, one can only aspire.
You're apologizing. I have to tell you off air what he did. There are levels that even I could not dream could happen.
One has to suggest that you must be, how can I put it delicately? It must have been really bad if you won't even share it on air.
I can't. I just can't share what I did. But, it's Longy. Well, now, we don't normally have guests on a Friday, as you well know, because either our theatre critic, Jonathan First Night Baz, or our screen queen, the wonderful Chantal Rickards OBE. But this lady had a big fright, did something immediately about it, and now is active and causing awareness. And it's something very close to my heart, breast cancer. So she was on the other week, and she's going to give us a little bit of a report, Philip, on how it all went with what she's doing. Emily Spinham Dexter.
Hello. Happy Friday.
Hi. Hello.
Or in my case, Friday.
She's a little bit, Phil, she's a little bit showbiz, which is a bit worrying. But anyway, there we are. She's young, she's enthusiastic, she'll grow out of it. So,
Never.
Tell us what, just to recap, you were in the shower, you found a lump, and instead of doing nothing, you immediately went to the doctors. Thank goodness it was benign, you had it dealt with, and you've been an advocate because you're young. I got milk in the fridge older than you, and you dealt with it. And that was always your message. And then you decided you want to be part of the moonwalk, not the huge moonwalk, but you did your special moonwalk with your 800,000 pals. How did it go?
So I found that lump in my left breast this time last year, and got really scared about the whole thing. Sure. I've known the founder of the moonwalk for a long time, and she said to me, please do it. But I wasn't fit enough this year to do the full marathon. So there's a 5K. She introduced a new inaugural walk of the 5K Zoom walk. Doesn't mean it's online Zoom. This was actually around Clapham Common
Why did she call it? Why did she call it the Zoom walk? Because I think
I don't know, but I have a rocket man to prove
idea.
Did it.
It's a really bad name, if you don't mind me saying.
So they had a virtual moonwalk in the morning.
Well, and I thought when Emily said, "I'm doing
now hang on a sec, hang on. Sorry, a virtual moonwalk. Tell us about that, because that's the kind of walk I can do if it's virtual.
You got his attention now. You got it.
Right.
You got it.
Let's cycle back. So the moonwalk we know is the marathon power walk through London overnight, where tens of thousands of women and men don whatever they feel like wearing, but probably a bra or a t-shirt with a bra on it, and all the buildings in London illuminated pink. It's great. They raise millions. At the moment, this year's is at 2.3 million. They're aiming for 3 million. Awesome. Wow. Love it.
Bravo.
Well done, everybody.
Give us the name of the founder again, because she's amazing.
She is incredible woman. And I got to spend some time with her on Saturday, which was amazing too. Nina Baru. So she had breast cancer.
Yes, Nina. Yes.
And she had a dream. She was power walking the New York Marathon in a bra. A couple of weeks later, found she got breast cancer. Was like, I'm definitely doing this now. The rest is history. Moonwalk's on its 26th year. Brilliant. So over the pandemic, couldn't go out and walk and do the marathon or half marathon, the half moon. So they set up the virtual moonwalk. So that's a slightly different thing, but you do it. But you can do it in your own time. You log your miles. That was the way they did it. Then they continued that for people that can't get
maybe
out
I'm not as up for that as I thought.
Phil, you've fallen at the first hurdle because it involves actual walking.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
It's not like this sitting there going, "Oh, I'm exhausted."
Well, no, I thought maybe what I could get away with is if I put some sort of green screen behind. I'm actually pretty much like what the backdrop I got now.
Yeah.
If I zoomed in on the backdrop and just sort of did this.
Yeah.
Like implying that I'm sort of running through the city.
Yeah.
That's what I thought virtual was.
You have to don a bra too, or a t-shirt with a bra on it.
Oh, no problem for Phil.
As long as it takes place at the weekend, I don't mind.
No.
It's a Saturday. Whatever floats your boat. It's fine.
Right. So you meander off to do your... Where was the 5K one held?
So they have Moonwalk Arena, which very much is amazing. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute, because I volunteered overnight for the Moonwalk after doing my 5K. because why not?
So
Moonwalk Arena is in Clapham Common. You do 5K around Clapham Common. Me and my lovely friend Annette, who I roped into it, of course I did, did it in 59 minutes 33. We weren't going for time, but we were literally just about to go to the hour, so legged it over the finishing line. So we've got our time and date stamps on our medals. Very proud.
Very good.
Thank you. Good. And the other reason I'm doing it, I should say, is I was massively inspired by my godmother. So she's got breast cancer. She was diagnosed last year. Lovely Lynn Wallace, we love and adore you. And my gorgeous godfather, he's supporting her, Malcolm Wallace. Hello from Spain, or to Spain. I thought this year it's time to do it. I found a lump. She's got breast cancer. This is the year to go do this thing. The party people team was born. We went and did it. It was amazing. And then the other part of the walk, so you do the 5K in the morning. Moonwalk City, not really called that, but we'll call it that for now, shuts down for a few hours whilst they re-gear.
You just made that up, didn't you? You just made it up to big yourself up, Moonwalk City.
No,
sounds like an early Bowie. Sounds like an early Bowie track, doesn't it? Off one of the early albums.
Moonwalk City. It's massive. I mean, we're talking stilt water.
Graham, I appreciate. Sorry, I'm not going to put this comment up, but Graham, I appreciate you always joining us and your humor, but you do understand that men can get breast cancer as well. And there's plenty of men who do the moonwalk now because they have breast cancer. So I'm not going to put your comment up. You can see why. It's a very sensitive subject for me. It's sensitive for Emily, of course. So
I am sure that, as we know, Graham's attitude, I think quite rightly, towards life is that you have to poke fun at it in order to survive it. Sometimes it's a coping mechanism.
That is true.
I realise sometimes there's a time and a place. I'm perfectly sure Graham meant no harm by it.
So. No, I didn't think he did. But I just wanted to make it clear that men can get breast cancer. And that's why some of the men walk, not just in memory of people they're supporting or people they've lost, but because they've gone through it themselves. It is not as common as women, of course, but nonetheless, it does happen, and it's not that rare. Okay, Em, go on.
We had rugby teams. I mean, we know what rugby boys are like, and hockey boys and girls, but they were in neon tutus with fairy lights with amazing bras. They were there to support their mums, their aunties, their uncles who'd got it. Loads of men. Some of them were there for, also with the volunteers, which I'll talk about in a second. And they were there because they'd lost people, but equally because they were supporting them through it, or they'd gone through it themselves. So men and women absolutely can both get breast cancer, and that's what's so important.
Did Mrs. Pack get through? This is the point. Is she okay now? That's
so as suspected. Graham actually just said it's sensitive to me. He says as his wife had it 2 years ago. So sorry to hear that, Graham. Hope she is okay.
Yeah, I hope she's recovering. Anyway, so you did this, and then you went to the main walk.
So I meant to mean obviously hadn't signed up to do the half moon or the full moon, but was given this. I have to show you in day glow. Ready? This is our volunteers outfit. Day glow hat.
Oh,
day glow.
Holy God. Could you stop waving? Keep it. No. Turn it round. Keep it still.
Crew.
He prefers looking at the front.
And then this beauty.
Uniting against breast cancer. Good.
So, Day Glow on the start line, yours truly. Amazing comedians, etc. Setting everybody off. I'm trying to put this whole thing in one go.
Oh, dear. Oops.
Yeah, that didn't work, Emily, you overdid it. It didn't work at all. Didn't work.
No. Here you go. There you go.
It's like the energy cap today. It's just been
There
dropped.
we go. So she wore this in the evening. She says, it's too big for me. It's like a dress. But it was great because loads of layers later and food.
It looks like a marquee. I don't know about the dress.
You can keep it for when Neil invites you somewhere nice for dinner. Well, good news from Graham. Good news from Graham. Yes, all okay. This is Mrs. Pack, who I presume has a name other than Mrs. Pack. I don't know. All okay. It was caught very early and going for a 2-year check in a couple of weeks' time. Excellent news.
We love it. Well done.
And then Leslie and Jones says this. Hello, I would do the moon walk, but my walk is for Diabetes UK. Absolutely. My feet say until there is walk for them, that will do it. All my respect to charity walkers ever. Yeah, I think they're great.
I think Graham will correct me if I'm mistaken with this, but I believe his cousin actually was the founder of IKEA Flat.
Well, Flat Pack. Jesus Christ. Emily, just talk. Emily, for God's sake,
can I just say, this is really important, actually.
Please just talk.
That the inaugural 5K Zoom walk, there are 150 of us nutters that set off first thing in the morning around Clapham Common.
Yeah.
From the ages of
nutters, yes.
This is impressive. from
Go,
the
keep
age
talking.
of
It's all right. It's my daughter. Don't worry.
Yeah,
I'm going to do this when she does her podcast.
We can't hear it.
check her boobs. Answer the phone. Tell her to check her boobs right now. Important. I'm on a campaign here, people. It's important. Anyway.
So yeah, sorry, the age range. Sorry.
Yeah, from 2 to 71. I kid you not. We had a beautiful toddler whose mum and uncle, as a brother and sister, had done the moonwalk for years with their parents. We had 3 generations doing it because they'd lost their grandmother. So 4th generation no longer here. 3 generations together. The 2nd generation had done the walk as a moonwalk for years and years. His sister had a baby, and she was there with us to do the 5K. They carried her.
What's the atmosphere like when you do these moonwalks?
It's incredible.
Like a real sense of camaraderie.
You know, before Emily answers that, you know that one year I was brought in to be the host and the start. And I've said it before, but I will say it again. It was in Hyde Park, I think it was Hyde Park. And there was the biggest marquee in Europe. And there was me and 17,000 women in this marquee. I'm not kidding you. Me and 17,000 women. As I said the other week, and I still
don't need to know what you get up to with your harem.
I still went home alone. Jesus, I'm never going to get better odds than that, for Christ's sake. Me and 17,000, I still went home on my own.
Those women set off on that moonwalk with a little glint in their eye from seeing Russ Kane. You know,
there was. It was a fantastic, the atmosphere.
Flying eye to flying start.
I did the starts as well. Obviously, the starts are staggered because you can't have 17,000 people moving on en masse. The atmosphere, I've never forgotten it.
Electric.
It was absolute. Yes, it was magnificent. It gave me goosebumps. It was just to have.
What happens if the weather's a bit naff?
They get wet.
Really?
I'd have gone home, obviously. I'd have gone home, but then it got wet.
So what happens in the evening? 8 o'clock-ish, people start arriving. There's an amazing warm-ups. We did one of these warm-ups in the first thing in the morning as a Congo line, all this kind of fun with an incredible warm-up guy who has done it for years. On a big stage, flashing lights, glitter, you name it, it's all going on. Everybody gets very pumped up. Gabby Roslin arrived to give her support. She's an ambassador for the charity as well. Yes. Some more celebrity faces were seen who were doing the walk that night, including Gabby Roslin, which was amazing. Just to really inspire people and give them that extra boost before they set off. Because this walk is long.
It must have been utterly inspirational.
Miles.
Leave it.
They set off at about 10, 11, and some of them don't finish till 7 the following morning.
Oh, they don't. They don't. But you know what? I think there is something, people are going to get really annoyed with what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway, because why not? I think when that amount of women get together, the energy was fantastic. The support was amazing with each other. And they were in such a great mood because it's like they're doing, you know, you get cancer. It's like, it's the worst, right? That and dementia, of course. Just awful. And then suddenly they can do something. There's a feeling of solidarity, of being kin, you know. Yeah, it was really
and men.
special.
That's what was so phenomenal.
Yeah, sure.
There were more men than ever before this year doing that walk and volunteering and giving their time. And I said it wasn't just women who were suffering from the breast cancers; it was the men too. And that is.
Do you think there is this misnomer that men somehow can't take part because it's a woman's event?
Yeah. Well, it's the bra. I honestly think it's the bra.
No, I know, but what I mean is, do you think that there is that misnomer out there?
That's what I'm saying. It definitely isn't. Like, everybody pile in. The more, the merrier. The theme this year was Fiesta, a fabulous Fiesta, and everybody embraced it.
Was it sponsored by Ford?
I'm going to say, I drive a Mini personally. But...
Fiesta is in part. Come on, boys. Come on. But yeah,
I'm more inclined for Siesta than Fiesta.
Siesta, you got me straight away. Fiesta, not so much.
But what I would say, anybody who doesn't feel they're in a position to walk, because I wasn't for a number of years, I wasn't very well, wasn't breast cancer, thank God. But you can volunteer, and they look after their volunteers magnificently. I was so overwhelmed by the love and support and brilliance, and they keep you refueled with beautiful food and drinks and everything else, and fabulous t-shirts like the Lumo one here. And there were loads of men.
How does that all work then? Sorry, did they have like several pit stops along the way or something?
So volunteers can volunteer for shifts at the beginning of the moonwalk, during the moonwalk, after the moonwalk. and it depends what you want to get involved with. You say to them what you'd like to do, and there are lots.
Oh no, I
lots
see. Sorry, I just meant on like the refreshments front. Is it like there are pit stops along the way or something?
Well, because I didn't do the moonwalk, I can't actually fully tell you what happened.
Not normally. The
yeah,
way
I don't think so.
When I did it, the way that it worked is there was an enormous sort of hospitality area, and I've got to say the food was damn good, which is obviously the key to.
It's obviously a full moon with Russ's signal at the moment, but anyway.
I think
in my department of any event that I turn up to. How's the cake? Yeah, there we are. We're back now. Right,
There
Emily
we go.
Dexter, thank you so much. Well
Thanks,
done.
Emily.
Yes,
Bravo.
thank you. We are going to be doing a
We will
DJ fundraiser in the next few weeks. So
She's tenacious. I said you can have 2 minutes at the front of the show. We've now had 16 minutes. Go on. I'm going to call you Bobby Roslin in a minute. Go.
Thanks. I'll take it as a compliment.
Well, really don't.
You'll be invited, Russ, and you, Phil, but we are going to be doing an in-person.
I was invited, but they wouldn't pay my fee. Okay,
no, to my
Emily.
Fundraiser.
Oh, to your fundraiser.
Bring it on. I'd love it.
All right, we'll do that.
Over the summer to raise more funds after we've done our walk. Because we've got our 5K done. Time to raise some more funds for them as a moonwalk after party is what they want to call it. So we're going to host
If
one.
only you knew a DJ.
Karen Shortland sums it up perfectly. She says, well done, Emily.
Well done,
and so
Emily.
say all.
And on that note, we salute you. Goodbye.
Bye. Oh, you didn't even get a chance.
she's
That was harsh. You didn't let her say goodbye. Cut her off in her prime there. What's wrong
I
with you?
speak to her all the time. She gets on the phone. I can't get her off the phone. Trust me. There's no short goodbye
Just
with
because
Phil
you
and
hang
Dex.
up abruptly.
There's
doesn't
no
mean everyone else
short. I
does.
do hang up abruptly. I got that from my mum. I've been bye. Boom. And anyone who knows,
I
me
wouldn't mind
does-
anyway. This is a replica, right? Just saying of the last time I've been on the phone to Russ. Anyway, great to speak. Hello, Russ. What? Hello. Gone.
That's what I do.
Doesn't even wait to say goodbye.
I'll say goodbye. I've said goodbye to you for 20 years. I don't need to keep saying goodbye.
I keep cropping up though. That's the problem.
My mum would do that. But anyone who knows me well goes, "You've just gone." I go, "Oh, but you see, my view is we've finished talking. So I'm on to the next thing." That's how my head works.
I know what it is. Is you're terrified of someone saying just before you go.
Yeah.
You don't give them that chance.
No.
So-
Just before you go, I just wonder if you could. No, I'm already gone. And I do it with the family. I do it with absolutely every. It's not intentional. It's just kind of how I am on the phone. I don't like phone conversations very much. That's just me.
Don't worry, it doesn't show.
No, that's the main thing. Yes. Oh, I had a great call just before the show. The phone goes. Don't recognize the number. It says Florida. I don't know anybody in Florida. And anyway, they're trying to sell me some shit or other. I don't know what it was. Anyway, the woman had such a strong accent. Phil,
Where was the accent from?
Well, who the hell knows? It wasn't Florida, that's for sure. And I said, I said, what are you trying to sell me? And she kept saying the same word. And to this day, as of like 5 to 12, I have no idea what the hell it was. But anyway, she got fairly short shrift.
Right.
That was that.
I must
Anyway,
admit,
how
though,
have
I
you-
don't care
how
for
have you
stuff
been?
like that.
How have you been? You been all right?
How have I? Well, thank you very much. Yes, I
Yeah,
can't
you've
deny
been
that
busy.
the last few weeks have been a little bit challenging, to say the least.
Well,
I
yeah.
should actually stress that to anyone who did wonder where I've disappeared to, let me just. I don't think for a second there are many, but I'll still say anyway.
I
on
was
the off
inundated with
on the
one.
off chance.
Nobody asked me. All right,
Yeah.
no one asked.
On the off chance that
on.
anyone does actually observe that I was
Yeah.
missing for the past few weeks, it was not
Yeah.
not milk carton missing style. It was just more I just wasn't on the show for the last few weeks. But just in case anyone thinks
You've seen this
that-
face.
I know, right?
Just a cravat. Have you seen this cravat missing in Red Cross?
Last seen in Savile Row. Now, so for me, the problem is that the past few weeks have been a bit trying, to say the least, because in
Yeah, a
between
bit.
my mother not being at all well, and when I say not at all well, I mean she's been in hospital for about 4 weeks. Thank goodness she's home now, and has been for just coming up. In fact, actually 2 weeks today she's been home. Thank goodness.
Thank God for
Um,
that.
but
'cause we were all
not
very
only has
worried,
she
'cause we love
been-
Linda. She's lovely.
Absolutely, she is. Well, at least she is to you. So that
She's
not
lovely to
only
me.
No, I'm joking. She is. As mothers go, she is amazing. But not only had she been terribly unwell in hospital, which I'm delighted to say that she is actually now back home again, recovering slowly but surely. The other thing that was also a little bit disconcerting is that work has been a bit off the hook because I have been helping to relaunch a national TV and radio station.
Yes, he has.
Which
When he says
sounds very
relaunch,
grand, and
when
it's
he
not
says-
actually as grand as it sounds. I was just a whipping boy.
No,
Anyway.
you weren't. As I've said every week that you haven't been here, you're helping to save, not relaunch. I mean, and you've worked your socks off. I mean, Phil's being very self-depreciatory as he always is, but he pretends he's a tiny cog in a big machine. He's not actually. And I'm always very grateful when he manages to turn up. And I phone Rupert and tell him. I tell him personally. And Ru goes, mate, thanks. And it's great. And that's how it works. Anyway, I think you've done, in all honesty, I
boss,
think
if
you've
you're
done.
watching.
I think, I don't think Ru is watching, but if he is, I think they've actually got it right. It's one of these interesting things where certain people are absolutely right for certain times of the day. And it just works. And when they're on at the wrong time of the day, it's like, this just, it's jarring. It's just not working.
Absolutely right.
And you can't always put your you can't always put your finger on why it doesn't work. So Phil, with the enormous team over by London Bridge, have completely redesigned everything from the ground up, and it's way better. It's where it should have been. It's the right lineup at the right time, and I say that in all seriousness. I think it's great. Well done.
I would agree that normality has almost resumed. So getting there.
No, you see, now here's an important question from Graham Pack, and I won't normally put it up, but here it is. Has Phil been out busking, trying to replenish the coffers from the money spent on the station? Yeah, and luckily he made 53 million quid. So they're okay. They're absolutely okay. I love it on buskers now, and I think it's actually a good thing that they have, like those iZettle machines. But I don't like doing it with a total stranger. I know it sounds weird, but I don't like giving.
You don't know every single shop assistant,
but I know the shop, and I've got a receipt.
No, I must admit, I've never really got the whole busking thing, but
Why?
not least. Well, I don't know. It just doesn't appeal to me. I mean, not least of all, it produced Ed Sheeran. So, I mean, that in itself is enough reason to dislike it.
Isn't it? Do you know what I was thinking the other day, and I'm beginning to sound like my dad.
Beginning.
Two things. Like Taylor Swift, they're saying is the biggest rock pop star of all time. If you put a gun to my head, which is highly likely the way things are going, if you put a gun to my head, I could only tell you one Taylor Swift song. I genuinely couldn't name Ed Sheeran. I could name one Ed Sheeran song. And it's quite incredible when, as life goes on, you just think, it's not for me. I don't care. And it becomes irrelevant. Does that make any sense? So I know Taylor Swift has made billions, but I couldn't tell you one song. One
no,
song.
I know. I don't think I could tell. I think I could tell you "Love Story." I know that. I know that one.
Don't know it.
And I don't see. Is there any other Taylor? I don't think I know any other Taylor Swift songs off the top of my head. Anyway, this is not BBC local radio, so please don't mess Jim with your Taylor Swift songs. We really don't.
No, because we don't care.
It's more about.
We can't say that on local radio. We can. We just.
Oh, I would.
Shit.
You're joking. I absolutely would. But for me,
not interested.
I tell you where I noticed this was last night. I actually went to go and see some friends I haven't seen for quite a while. We all got to collectively.
Were they grateful? Were they grateful when they saw you? Or...
Well, once they remembered who I was, they were.
Yeah, that was it.
And it was.
Oh, look, Dave's here. That's his surname. Oh,
I get that.
Peter's here. Peter Dave. How close were these friends?
You now made me think they're even more distant. But what happened was that they basically, we were all sitting around. Most of them have got children now, right? So everyone's sitting around talking about what they're doing about getting their children into various schools.
Jesus! The world's most boring.
Earth has gone wrong here.
Jesus Christ! Two most boring conversations in the world. One,
other people's children.
Other people's children. Who cares? I don't. right? Neither does Phil, and neither do you, really. You don't give a monkey's. You pretend, you nod, but really, it gives a shit. Not your kids, not your problem, right? And number 2, house prices. Oh, God. Oh, God.
I was
just
so
have to leave, I
upset.
have to
I
leave
lost
the
out
room.
on 100,000. We're bully for you.
Well, I bought it, for 120, and I thought, and I'm like, oh, shoot me now.
Actually, funnily enough, I do find the property prices quite interesting, but that's just because I'm mildly obsessed with property. However,
yeah, no, I know you are, and you've done all right. You waited, and you played life correctly, and I played life like a complete bloody idiot.
Well, I wouldn't go
Here's
that
the
far.
thing about: have you ever had somebody phone you up? This happened to me the other week. Someone phoned up, clearly knew me. Hi, da 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 da. And the conversation had gone past fail-safe point when I should have said, I know so many, call it Fred. I know so many Freds. I'm so sorry. I'm not familiar with you. I should have said something. Like a Burke, I didn't. So this 10-minute conversation went on. I have no idea who the hell I was speaking to. I genuinely don't. And it's really awkward because you try to be neutral, and not say something obvious like, hey, how's your brother? Well, still dead. I mean, you don't want that sort of thing to happen in the conversation. You just don't. It was awful. I put the phone down. I go, oh, God, who the hell was that? I still don't know.
So I have to tell you,
Yeah,
I'm with you all the way on that front, because
Yeah.
the other day, this is going to sound a little bit la-di-da, but I did put it on social, so people who follow me would know this anyway.
Yeah,
I attended the Chelsea Flower Show the other
You
day.
did. It looked
in
fantastic.
Absolute pouring rain. It was
Yeah, it was
delightful.
piddling
It's
down.
very, very wet out. It's not the ideal day to go to the Chelsea Flower Show, especially in light of the fact that on Monday it was absolutely glorious and I
It was
missed
gorgeous.
out. So
Yeah,
I went on
gorgeous.
Tuesday.
You went on a Tuesday.
Anyway, whatever. Serves me right.
I think she's wearing a Chanel top. I think it's not Chanel. Is it Dior? It's very, very smart. Very smart.
He's talking about Chantal Rickards, just in case you wondered, because I was going to say, first and
Emily's
foremost, to the best of my knowledge, I'm not wearing a Chanel top. And the last time I checked, I know it's 2024. I don't identify as she. Anyway, what I was going to say is that if you have a look at what happened was that when I was actually at the Chelsea Flower Show, is that I happened across a couple of people that I knew there from like sort of this
Monty Don?
Well, I didn't see Monty Don, but he was there on the day I was there, but I didn't see him.
Oh,
however,
like him. He's great. I like Monty.
However, one of the people I did know who was there is a guy called Simon Lycett. Now, Simon Lycett, if the name sounds familiar, is actually he's dubbed the Royal Florist. Right, he's got a very distinct look about him. He's got quite a few piercings. He's got a very impressive handlebar moustache. Lovely guy. Right, honestly, one of the nicest people I've worked for in forever. And I used to work with him at where I used to work before I am now. Yeah. And I, in a moment of total madness, had completely and utterly forgotten his name. Yeah, Interflora. Completely and utterly forgotten his name.
God.
And it was fairly obvious to me that he'd forgotten my name.
Yeah.
He'd completely forgotten my name as well, because standing next to him with his better half, and he said to me, "Oh, I don't think you've met my husband, have you?" So I just said, "Oh no, how do you do? I'm Phil." And anyway, and it's only from that point onwards that Simon then turned around and said, "Oh, well, Phil used to produce this program on such and such a station." Yeah. Anyway, little did Simon know that whilst he was busy doing that, I managed to catch a glimpse of his press pass. And that's how I reminded myself how I knew what his name was. So clearly both of us knew each other. We'd just forgotten each other's names. But
my boss in America, his wife and he had a great routine for getting around this problem. And he would give her a little tiny sign. And this woman, it was so clever, and I've used it myself. And she would say, "Well, I can see that Bob isn't going to introduce us. Hello, I'm Margaret Butler." And they would say, "Oh, hello, Margaret. Lovely to..." Oh, and they go, "Hey, Margaret, lovely to meet you. I'm Bob Schwank Jr." And then my boss would go, "Bob, we know," and then just cover it all up brilliantly.
So I do
a great way of finding someone's name.
So I do something quite similar. If I'm with my mother out and about and she happens across someone she knows and she can't remember their name, I would turn to my mother and say, "Well, aren't you going to introduce us?" So,
and she'd go, "Oh, that's really awful." Don't ever do that to me, because I can't remember anything. 1, I'm old. 2, I'm stupid. And 3, it's the
She's
drugs.
literally never forgiven me for the time I did that.
It's the worst. Aren't you gonna? Oh, this is. She must have gone absolutely. I bet she took you into the nearest branch of Marks and Spencer's and hit you with a meal deal. Smacked you.
Absolutely. Walloped me over there with a cucumber. I never did that again. It was very refreshing. So,
you know her. You love her. Prepare to sing, Philip. Prepare to sing. Actually, and I'm going to bring Emily
when
on.
she
just
hit
to
me
sing.
over the
Hang on,
jar.
I'm bringing Emily on just to sing. Wait a minute. Stand by as you haven't buggered off, Emily. You can. Right, ladies and gentlemen. You know her. You love her. She's had her hair done specially. Birthday girl. Happy birthday. Come on, Emily.
To
You. Happy
birthday to
you.
Happy birthday, dear Chantal. OBE. Happy birthday to you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Em. That was.
Thank you.
Pretty happy. Bye, Em. There we go.
I wouldn't mind, but it's not actually Chantal's birthday today. But anyway.
No, I just.
Sadly, it is.
Oh, is it? Oh, very
good. Happy birthday.
Many happy returns.
Thank you.
How lovely.
And I was hoping to celebrate with you both, but Phil, you are otherwise engaged. So it's just Russ and I.
Just the two of us, just me and Chantal at the Georges V in Paris.
Ah, if only. No, it's
on my private jet.
It's
your back garden with 200,000 of your closest TV mates.
Yeah. No, 50 of my closest friends.
Oh, Jesus. 50? There probably will be 50. Yeah.
I am very sorry. I genuinely wish, honestly, this is where I get the most shocking FOMO from my job, is because that it's occasions like this. The number of times I have to turn people down and say, because I'm abnormal, I'm not allowed to go out on a Friday night because I have to be up so stupidly early on a Saturday. Honestly, it does drive me a bit bonkers sometimes, but I very much hope that we will get the chance to go for a belated birthday drink maybe in the next week or two instead.
We will. We will. I have to say, Phil, you are the least rock and roll DJ I know. DJs would literally go out, drink themselves silly all night long, and then do a breakfast show.
Oh, no, you don't understand. If I was just on air at a certain time, I'd 100% do that, because then I think I'd go home and sleep afterwards. My problem is on a Saturday, my work hours are something like 4 a.m. to 4 p.m., and that would just kill me. So it's not a good look, believe me.
Okay.
There's a wonderful story that Terry Wogan was a notorious. He could pack it away, and Chris Tarrant, as you know, can really pack it away. So they decide to go out for lunch. This is completely true because Chris told me himself. So the lunch goes on and on and on, and they are both absolutely what faced. The pair of them. It's now something like 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
God, I'd love to have been there.
Can you imagine? So Terry's just getting into his roller, the great Terry Wogan, who I idolized, getting into his roller. And Chris says, I don't know how I'm going to get up tomorrow. How are you going to do it? Oh, didn't I tell you? He goes, didn't I tell you? I got a week off. Have a great show.
No.
It set him up. And Chris was absolutely, practically unconscious the next morning. And Terry got in the back of his roller and just drove off, laughing his face off. Lovely story. It's a lovely story of two very great men. Two very great men. Anywho. By the way, can I just very quickly just pay tribute? I had a phone call yesterday. I'm sorry to dampen the mood just for a second. I had a phone call yesterday. I was sitting on the train as ever. And
sitting on something else there.
No, I was sitting on the tube train. And Annie O'Neill, my producer for 20 years on The Breakfast Show, phoned me up. And we had a chat. So get well soon, Annie O'Neill. She's been ill since December, but she's much better now, which is great. With the sad news, and I don't know if you ever came across him, Nick Wheeler. Nick Wheeler was our head of news at Capital for many, many years, and he passed this week. So for those of you who used to listen to Capital back in the heyday, and Nick Wheeler was a big deal. Very nice man, not a personal friend of mine, but a very, very nice man, deeply professional. condolences to his family, of
Oh.
course, and friends. There we are. Right.
How about
You, again, I have to say thank you. I have to say thank you for the Irish show that
Oh,
you recommended last week.
God, honestly, it
what's
goes
it
in one
called?
ear and out the other. I
I
can't
know,
remember.
me too. Begins with B, and I can't remember.
Blue lights, not blue lights.
No. What? It's got the name of a name of a little
Bodkin.
Bodkin. Yeah,
Bodkin.
Bodkin. I always think of Simon.
Glad
Brodkin.
you enjoyed it that much.
No, I can't remember names. You recommended it last week, 7-part. I binge watched it.
Very good.
Yeah, it was interesting. I've recommended it to a few of my friends, especially my Irish chums. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you very
It
much.
makes me just want to get on a plane and go to Ireland because it just looks so beautiful and it's a country I don't know at all. So
I've never been.
you've
Although
never been?
I've never been to
Sorry,
Ireland.
what?
No. I've never
You've
been.
never
to
been
Ireland.
to Ireland?
I've been to Northern Ireland.
Kane?
We went on tour to Northern Ireland.
No. You've never been to like Republic.
Island, proper Ireland. No.
Wow.
You can't say
No.
proper Republic of Ireland. You can't say proper Ireland.
Well, oh Jesus!
Oh,
Look,
God,
right.
your
letters will get off
I've
the
never
back of
been.
that.
I've never been to the Dublin area. Does that keep me out of trouble? I don't want to get neat.
Not
It
really.
doesn't. Dublin is beautiful. How could you
Well,
not been to Dublin?
Well, I've never been invited. I've got no reason to go.
I've never been invited. I just go.
Well, you always turn up. You turn up at people's houses. You're not invited. Your friends didn't even know your name.
This is true. First 3 years of my life, I thought my name was Oi. But
I
anyway.
could get the Irish Tourist Board to sponsor the show. and then
They should do that.
go
We could go there for
Full
the
trip.
Guinness factory or something. I did Belfast.
Oh, that's
Belfast.
goodness.
We did. Did we do Belfast? Yeah, Belfast, which was amazing. Nothing like I imagined at all. They've poured billions into that city. My God, it's incredible.
Yeah.
We did, I think, 3 or 4 nights with Westlife in the big arena there in Belfast. It was fabulous. Anyway, neither here nor there. So, what's come across your purview?
Well, I wondered whether you guys had actually started watching the reboot of the possible earlier reboot of Rebus on BBC One.
Not yet.
Not yet. Well, actually, it's rather good.
Aha!
Ha! So, John Hannah was a Rebus.
That's right.
Ken Stott was a Rebus.
Yeah.
That's for sure. There may have
How
been.
tickled I am. Oh, Ken, stop. Sorry.
What?
But the Ian Rankin novels, which were written some decades ago, are now
Really?
back again, but a contemporary version with a much younger Rebus. So he's not old and crotchety, he's sort of young and crotchety.
That's why I didn't get the part. That's why.
That's probably the reason. But the actor is an actor I don't know well, and he's absolutely brilliant. He's called Richard Rankin. He's not a member of the Rankin family.
What are the chances?
What are the chances? No, I don't think he's related to Ian Rankin, but
That's
he
hilarious.
is really good. Clearly, for those that don't know the Rebus novels, the central character is a Glasgow copper who's sort of got history. He's got a bit of, he's complicated. This character at this stage is divorced. He's got a 12-year-old daughter. He's a bit of a feckless father. Clearly, he was a bit of a feckless husband, but he's a brilliant copper. He's matched up with an English woman. Do they like each other? Don't they like each other? Can they trust each other? That's sort of all the obvious stuff. But it is absolutely, if you listen to the opening title music, you know immediately that they want the audience to think that this is gritty, grim, grimy, and it's going to
No
be,
big tech numbers in it then?
close to the edge.
No big tech numbers, nothing.
No, it's a full fat version. So if you don't like swearing, don't watch.
Okay.
It's very full on. The first series, it's a series of 7, and I really hope they carry on with it because I think this Rebus is probably going to become my favorite
Ooh.
character.
Well, John Hannah's such a good actor, though. I love.
Well, I like John Hannah, but he somehow didn't embody the Ian Rankin character. Who he was too nice, he was too gentle. He was.
So
too,
we could get him. We could get him to play Phil Dave in the Phil Dave, biopic.
Well, you see, I've often thought there should be a biopic of my life.
Really? Have you? Yeah. Have you cast it yet?
Well, I think it depends because I can't think of anyone better to play me than me.
Yeah, why did I know that was coming? What a surprise. What channel is this on? Because every week, everyone then phones me and messages. This happens every week.
I was just suggesting it. It's not actually happened.
Chantal, I've got to be serious. Every time we finish the show, then I get them. What did she say? What was the name of the show? Oh, Jesus. What channel is it on? I don't know. Why can't you just listen?
On the British Broadcasting Company.
Okay, BBC. Marvelous. We can get it. iPlayer, fantastic.
Yes, you can get it on the iPlayer, and I'm sure it'll go around the world very quickly. It's one of those things that's got, good high production values and will be sold everywhere. And I'm sure we'll be on a channel in the US for our US listeners and watchers pretty soon. But it's definitely worth it. The first series or the first episode is really about a family issue. Rebus's brother has come out of the military, can't quite find his feet. Is living in impoverished circumstances with his wife. They have to go to, they talk about going to a food bank. He decides, no, let's not go to a food bank. I know what I'll do. I'll go and rob some drug dealers. And it all goes down.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
Sounds like a solid plan to me. This sounds like, if you had to sum up my financial acuity and planning, that would be it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's rob some drug dealers and it works out, Russie. That'll be fine.
But it's pretty grim stuff.
Ooh.
So if nasty stuff makes you wince, it might not be for you, but it is definitely.
And don't watch the news. If nasty stuff makes you wince, don't watch the news anyway. Right? Ghastly.
I have to say, in other news, I don't know if either of you realise this has just flashed up on my screen. This is amazing. I didn't even know he was still going. Do you know Stanley Baxter is 98 years old today?
Bless him. Wow. I loved those shows. Oh, those shows when I was a kid were magnificent.
Wow.
98.
Yeah.
I did know we shared a birthday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So,
Chantal's younger.
Not by much.
I don't believe that for a second.
Do you want to swap? Have you really got like 50 people? There'll be 50 people, won't there?
Yeah, you, me, and 48. And
well, here's the big question. I wouldn't normally when Chantal invites me.
I'm very upset. I really wish I could go.
No, it's going to make the evening go with a swing. Let's be honest about it. You'll only be handing out your CV to every TV producer who's there. You know what you're like. You do about 50 photocopies. Hi. And then when you get everybody into Chantal's living room and then do a bloody audio-visual presentation for 20 minutes, I think it's a bit much, although it's impressive. There we are. I still like it.
I mean, I don't have to do the presentation side if you don't want me to.
Well, maybe not, as it's her birthday.
Another time. Phil, you'll have to come over another time when you're not getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I would love to. Thank you.
He's always up.
And I'm actually getting up at 3:30, but I've got to start at 4. However, can I just say that there's a couple of things that I have watched in the last few weeks that I really wanted to highlight just before running out of time, because a couple of things that I think are very interesting. A couple of documentaries on Netflix that I found really fascinating. Although this didn't originate on Netflix, it's currently available there, called 24 Hours in Tesco. Now, as abhorrent as it sounds, it's actually quite cute. I know, but it's actually quite interesting to see. It's basically the workings of Tesco, a typical Tesco supermarket, say, in, funnily enough, the span of 24 hours. It's not quite got the same ring as 24 hours in A&E, but it's all the same. I mean,
will they get the bread on the shelves in time?
Well, I was going to say, it's not when you sort of see like a heart rate monitor flat line. It's not quite as thrilling as when there's a clean up in aisle 3. Yeah. But at the same time, it is still
Jeff's been called to aisle 3. On the floor is oil.
That's quite. It's all the same. It's quite amusing, I suppose.
Oh, okay. Is it a one-off or a series?
I think it's just a one-off. That's all I could find it. And the other one that was a one-off as well that I really quite like the idea of, primarily just because I feel like I'm related to half of them, is a documentary called Secrets of the Neanderthals.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So it looks at it sort of uses all of this clever computer trickery to make you realize how the Neanderthals might have lived, and also not realizing, and I absolutely did not know this, so there you go, herein lies the problem, is Neanderthals were around for something like 70,000 years or something like that. So whereas we've only got a 2,000 year history or like maybe about 2,000-3,000 or whatever it is,
A bit
as
more.
like modern humans.
Started with Ben-Hur.
Well, and Ben him as well. But the Neanderthals.
Ben they. These
Ben
days.
they, absolutely. Ben
Yeah.
them.
Identifies
Ben
as a
there you go.
chariot. Ben them, a little bit.
Or bend it like Beckham. But like I don't know. Or bend over.
Leave it.
Leave
Leave it.
I don't mind.
Just leave it. Please don't go there. Thank you.
Anywho, so
Well,
I
I would
highly
just like to
recommend
point out, what were they doing for 70,000 years? Because if
Not
we
much.
for a couple of thousand, we've achieved quite a lot in 2,000 years. They were around for 70,000 and did a couple of cave
They
paintings.
weren't in a rush.
well, it's
they weren't in a
true.
rush. You weren't producing them, Chantal. Ease up.
So the Neanderthals seem
weren't
to
in a
live a
hurry.
very simple existence. This may come
Yeah.
as no shock. One that was actually sort of quite content with just sort of existing rather than progressing. I think the biggest difference between Neanderthals and obviously Homo sapien is that we've sort of always had this, if you like, this willingness, this eagerness to move forward and to drive ourselves forward, whether it's for better or for worse. Whereas Neanderthals just sort of did almost exactly what other animal counterparts do, which is just exist. So if you have a look at, say, the way the elephants have existed for how many hundreds of thousands of years, exactly the same way that lizards and other such creatures have existed for what they believe is millions of years. They've existed like that. I suppose you could sort of understand sort of why that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it ultimately did break when the Neanderthals were wiped out with what they believe, would you believe, was a change in climate then.
Uh-oh. Oh, dear.
Was there a sort of Swedish Neanderthal who just looked bloody miserable the whole time, wandering around, going, how dare you, until somebody hit her over there with a club?
You're not talking about Ulrika Johnson, are you?
Oh, dear.
One day, I can still see our little chum, Emily Spinham Dexter. One day, Emily, I can't do it because I have to do a recording after the show. I will tell you my Ulrika story. I'm not doing it public.
Oh, that's not fair.
I can't.
Ugh.
I can't. I'll tell you tonight.
Okay.
I'll tell you tonight. It's worth it. It's worth
Okay.
it.
Let's just say his day got brighter.
My day really didn't get brighter at all. Quite the bloody opposite.
Storms in from the west.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, it was not a warm. Let's just say it wasn't a warm front. We'll leave it at that. Anywho, there we are. I've got two questions for you, Mr. Neanderthal. Well, wonderful.
Things got choppy in the southeast.
It got very choppy, I can assure you. Here's the thing, right? We descended from apes. I've said this before, and I don't. No one's ever. What? All right, no one's explained it, right? We evolved, right? Apparently from apes, right? Why haven't they evolved? What are they doing? What are they doing? Are they doing like, oh, Terry, we're still apes. What the hell?
Yeah,
this is kind of, but this actually this does explain.
Dave, I don't know. I'm eating a banana. Leave me alone.
If you think about it, this does explain an awful lot of human behavior. But I do think that it's interesting. Watching this documentary made me realize that we are sort of genetically quite faulty in terms of our, in terms of sort of how we have broken away from the ancestors, if you like.
I don't think we're from here. I genuinely don't. I don't think we're from here at all. No, really, I don't. I don't at all.
Well, then why did we lose communication with home?
I can't even get the bloody Wi-Fi working, right? So why? Can't even get Wi-Fi working properly. So
can't blame BT because AT&T have got to take their fair share of the blame.
They have. Interestingly, with Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, of course, they always said they were separate, but what they did, I haven't seen this documentary and I want to, but they did interbreed, which was not known until years. You know, who knows? It was Clacton. It was a wet Wednesday.
Okay. So there was crossover.
There was crossover.
Okay. That sounds even more peculiar.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't want to be there. But anyway, so that was that. And do they use all CGI and everything, Phil, on this thing?
Well, it's a bit weird. It's a combination of both. You have sort of human reenactment versus CGI. It's all a bit odd, but it's interesting though, all the same.
Okay.
Okay.
And there was also another there's actually another documentary I didn't watch recently, but just kind of along those lines, talking about another version of human life formation called Home and a Lady, which is again I can't trying to think of the documentary for that, because again that was also absolutely, if you like this sort of thing, absolutely fascinating. It is, let's have a see, what was the
Home and a Lady?
No, homo as in like Homo sapien.
Yeah.
Homo Naledi, Naledi.
No idea.
What?
No idea.
I promise you.
You've lost everyone now.
No, lost me too.
What is it? What are we talking
Let me
about?
see. Okay, there you go. Oh, that was it. The documentary is called Cave of Bones.
Cave of Bones.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Do a search for that. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. Fascinating stuff.
Okay.
Right.
Was that in aisle 7 of the Tesco documentary? Aisle 7. Could you show me the aisle for bones, please?
You do have a very eclectic mix of things to watch.
Oh, yes.
I like that in a person.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No, I like your curiosity.
You can be as charming as you like, Chantal. He's still not turning up tonight.
No,
That's all there is to it.
I might call in sick tomorrow.
No, you can't do that.
No, you are looking a bit peaky. I'm giving you.
Is it just me, or is it quite warm in here?
I quite like this one. Oh no, is that similar to the Australian soap Homo and Away? Very good. Very good. I like that one.
It was
That's
the
your best one
origins
today, Graham.
of that. There you go.
It's the origins of that well-known show. So what else? Why are you looking so smart today, by the way? Are you looking extremely smart? Very. Are you going out for luncheon? Are you being taken out for lunch?
No, I'm just chopping vegetables all afternoon.
Oh,
but I can see a lot of glasses behind you.
Yeah.
Oh, can you? Well, there are a lot of glasses. You're right. I smashed one this morning, which is not very good. So I am going to have to go to Sainsbury's and buy some more champagne flutes. But once I've done that, I'll be back here chopping vegetables for the rest of the day.
Chantal
I'm
never
very
lets
sad.
anybody
I wish I
help.
was there.
No, Chantal never lets anybody help. First of all, she always looks this elegant. So even at the end of the evening, she looks this elegant, which is just bloody
That's
annoying.
not true.
But then you say, can I help? No, just leave it. Just leave it. And no one's allowed to do anything. I occasionally, if I'm there early, I'll, bring some stuff around. But that's it. I've never known anybody so self-sufficient. It's ludicrous. Yeah.
No, well, I've got two very nice young people coming to help today. So hopefully I'll be able to have a conversation with people as opposed to run around and fill glasses all evening. Right. More viewing. I'm going to give you something else to watch over the weekend, which I found on Sky. It's an HBO documentary. It's only a 2-hour documentary, but it's sort of quite serious, but it's really worth watching. And it's basically about, do you remember that there was a bombing in Oklahoma of one of the public buildings?
One of the government buildings.
One of the government buildings.
Yeah.
Which was, let me think.
Timothy McVeigh was the bomber.
It was indeed. It was mid-90s.
95, I think it was.
95. Yeah. And basically what this documentary shows, because it's not really specifically about that, because that would just be sort of, too dense in a way. It tracks the rise of dissent, of people who don't believe in American government, and where all of this instability came from, but also how it reflects now as to where they were looking back. And there is a sort of direct trajectory or direct line from there to where we are now, and the numbers of people in America who are clearly very dissatisfied with government, who are gun owners to their core and always will be, who want to say something about government all the time. And the further that they head right, if you like, is showing their dissatisfaction in governmental systems. So it's quite... yes, it's done like a thriller in that you want to know who did what and what happened and where does Waco fit in and where does there's another similar tragedy in Arkansas fit in that Bill Clinton was involved in, and where does that bring us to today? So it's cut in a way that you just want to see the next scene. But actually, the overarching aspect of the whole thing is very much about where are we today? Let's just not forget where we've come from in many ways. And of course, the whole thing about Oklahoma was their involvement from people in Germany who were trying to help destabilize America. Now, they go down that rabbit hole and they come back out again. But even so, it's very interesting just to hear all the different theories around it. But it's worth watching. It's called An American Bombing. Road to the 19th of April. I don't quite know why we need the sort of the extra bit at the end of it. And it's on Sky, so it'll be on now. But anybody else, any of your characters, channels that carries HBO will take it. So, and it's worth watching. It's only a 2-hour special, but it's very, very good.
Yeah. Graham's made a point, and I
have
totally,
to just say here at this
agree.
junction, sorry,
You've got to go.
Russ did know this, but unfortunately, I have to dive out now.
Oh, thank God.
But on the plus side, you get 5 minutes of nattering, just the two of you, uninterrupted by an attention-seeking moron. But at least Russ is still here.
Don't talk about Emily like that. She can still hear you. Look, now you've upset her.
This behavior. Emily, you stick around in my absence. Make up the third, because two's company. And on that note, I shall see you next week. Happy birthday, Chantal.
Yeah.
Thank you, Phil. Have a good weekend. Don't work too hard.
Thanks. Bye.
Go away.
I'm trying to. Bye.
Watch. Graham Pat makes a very interesting point, and I agree with this. If Biden, by some miracle, wins the next election, if he does, the Timothy McVeighs of the world are going to go absolutely ballistic. They're going to go nuts. And the difference, nature, I feel very serious about this because it's coming here as well. It's coming here as well. Nature abhors a vacuum. And we're both seen enough stuff to know that. And eventually, when the people you're supposed to rely on are not protecting you, people take the law into their own hands.
Yeah.
I am convinced we're going to end up with militias. I do.
Well, they're already there. This documentary.
I mean here as well. I'm convinced. The difference being, of course, over there, everyone's armed to the teeth.
They are.
And if I lived there, I'm going to be absolutely honest. My friends who live there are now arming themselves.
No.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
It is terrifying because they're people like you, like me. I mean, in all seriousness, joking, easygoing, just want to get on with life, have a bit of a laugh, etc. But if some maniac's going to burst into your house, if I'm going to go, they're going down with me. That's my philosophy. And so thank God we don't have that here. I know it's horrible. But I honestly think if somebody doesn't get a grip of what's going on, that's what's going to happen. The film Civil War is not how it's going to go down, but it's so close. Genuinely, and you've lived there a long time. I lived there a long time. You know how easily this could happen.
Well, part of this documentary, which I found absolutely fascinating and hadn't really understood the political implications of, that when they were working out, and they worked it out pretty quickly, that it was a domestic terrorist, this guy McVeigh, as opposed to an international terrorist. Yeah. They didn't really want it to be a domestic terrorist because of what it said about them. They were really hoping that if anybody had perpetrated this awfulness, it was somebody from overseas, because how could it possibly be one of their own? And what did that say about the state of America? And that's what I think is so interesting about this documentary. And fundamentally, that question is still there and hasn't been answered.
It's and for every decent, lovely person who welcomes you into their home, and Americans are really, they're very hospitable, very charming, and they're delightful. I mean, my daughter's American, the one who phoned in the middle of the show, and all of that. It's lovely. We both live there and work there a lot. But for every, lovely person that we meet, there are loads of Timothy McVeighs preparing for God knows what. Yeah. And, some of them have got a real beef with the government, and some of them are just raving mad.
Yeah. And it's also, particularly with McVeigh, it tracks back to how he as an individual came to feel so disengaged.
Yeah.
And it tracks back through his family and how they lost their jobs and how farmers, 1 million farms closed down during this period. And a lot of people were out of work in the big motor cities.
Yeah.
Automotive cities.
Yeah.
So it tracks back to this place where disaffected people fill their brain with other stuff that can be very dangerous.
It is extremely dangerous, but there's the world of difference between me going on Twitter and getting into an absolute blind fury every day. So I've had to pull back because I'm maybe a bit, I'll be honest, I've been on it, Chantal. It's made me sometimes it makes me a bit ill, and I have to really come away from it. But so saying that, what am I going to do? I'm going to shout and scream, end of. And then you've got the other people who go, well, I'm actually going to do something about it. And they have the weaponry and they have the technical know-how to do it. That's a whole different ball of wax.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets really, really, really. And whatever happens in November forget what's going to happen here, but whatever happens in America in November, whoever wins, the other side are going to be so disaffected.
Yeah, indeed.
There's no middle ground there.
No.
At all.
It's
anything quick that you saw that you think
very quick one at the BAFTAs last week? The best international drama was won by something called Class Act. Shame on me, I didn't know what it was, so I looked it up. Mm-hmm. It's about a great, it's not true life, because at the beginning they say this is a fictionalized version of a man's life that so basically some of it's true and some of it isn't. He's a Frenchman called Bernard Tapie, who was very involved in sport. He was the man behind Marseille, the famous football team. He was the man behind one of the winning cycling teams. He bought Adidas. He was a fraudster. He went to jail. He made billions. He gave them back. He's got an extraordinary life. And the actor, absolutely brilliant. I've only watched the first 2 episodes and I'm completely hooked. It's called Class Act and it's on Netflix. And it's terrific. Really good.
Thank you for that. I love these larger-than-life characters. And we end with Julie Voice, who lived in Houston, Texas, now in the wild west of Guilford, with her mum. Well, she doesn't live with her mum, but her mum's wait a minute, listen to this. Her mum's 96, and Julie has to take her to the Bowls Club every week and wait for her like an Uber driver.
Oh, bless.
Fantastic. I lived in rootin' tootin' shootin' country, so I totally agree. She gets it. She I don't think we're wrong. Chantal, happy birthday to you. Have a wonderful day. Don't sprain your wrist chopping vegetables. I very much look forward to seeing you later.
See you later.
Thank you. And you go, and I know you've got things to do. So bye-bye. See you later. And that, folks, is it for another week. I've had an absolute blast. Sorry about the technical problems on Wednesday. A technical problem being called Neil Long. Anyway, thank you for your company. Thank you for letting us join you. I always appreciate it. Thank you for the numbers, which are going through the roof. I really appreciate that as well. We will be back on Monday, me, Longy, and I can't remember who else, but other people. And it'll be great. Have a wonderful weekend. You never know, the weather might stay kind to us for 5 minutes. And in the meantime, try and stay out of trouble. Bye-bye.